Hey everybody, welcome to Jedediah's Corner. My name is Jedediah, and today is unfortunately number 135 of Israel's brutal assault on the people of Gaza, who are currently corralled into a tiny spot near the Egyptian border, a tiny town called Rafah. The last hospital in Gaza has been completely evacuated and destroyed. One AIDS patient died yesterday because he was not able to receive treatment. There's a lot going on currently. So, yesterday, the ICJ resumed hearings on the issue of Israel and Palestine, the conflict, and the genocide, and about 6 different people stood up to give their defense of Palestine and their recommendations moving forward. They read multiple statements from government officials in Israel who refuse to negotiate any type of two-state solution, refuse to give Palestinians their sovereignty. 2 things that I heard in the ICJ hearings yesterday that are very interesting and very important for everyone to understand, to advocate for the Palestinian cause. One is that occupations are never, according to international law, intended to be permanent. 2, there is a difference between an occupation and an annexation. 3, occupiers of a land are not allowed to annex parts of that land to their country. That is a breach of international law, and therefore it makes it illegal. Now, practically on the ground, here are some of the plans from the Nazis like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and Benjamin Netanyahu. And I'm calling them Nazis because they are acting exactly the same way that the Nazis in Germany acted towards the Jews in the 1940s. It is baffling, but easy to understand considering the religion of Judaism and the words written in the Torah, a book that gained a massive amount of popularity, one for being one of the most well-preserved books from antiquity, and that is credit to the Jewish scribes and their meticulous accounting of documents and details. But the Torah is a book of the law, and it is a story, a mythology of the Israeli people. It is not a history textbook, nor has it been verified to be completely historically accurate. There are some details that archaeologists have been able to correlate, but I mentioned this in another video because the Israeli people call the West Bank and parts of Palestine, Judea, and Samaria, because those are the words used in the Bible. The Bible is not a historical document, it is a religious text. Therefore, it has no legal weight in determining land disputes. So the Palestinian people who lived there for thousands of years, who were displaced by the Zionist project, have every right to return to that land. And the Zionists who displaced them have no right to the land by taking it by force. That is not something that a Jewish or a Zionist will believe, and these terms get so completely conflated and confused. So let me move on to the practical on the ground. I started to get into that. Ben-Gvir is one of the driving forces behind this genocide. He is a literal terrorist. His new idea is sadistic, callous and cruel, and cynical. What he wants to do, the holy month of Ramadan is coming up. What he wants to do is limit the amount of Muslims who can pray at the Al-Aqsa Mosque. In the past, Israelis doing things like this to prohibit worshippers coming to pray, even not during the holy month of Ramadan, has caused serious issues, has caused clashes, and at times has actually mobilized the entire Palestinian population to peacefully protest as one whole. For them, this is a red line that Israel should not cross, and Israel is fully aware of this. So they are setting up a situation where they can complete their ethnic cleansing of the people that are just corralled in a death camp in Rafah with no medical facilities, no clean drinking water, very, very little aid getting through. When a truck comes in with aid, it is sent first to Tel Aviv, where the Israeli soldiers go through it and remove items on the A and B list. The one list is for items that could have dual purpose, potentially be used for military making weapons and things like that. But there's another list of luxury goods, things like spaghetti and jam. And now they did this before they started to conduct this genocide, so we've heard reports of anesthetic being missing from the trucks. We've heard reports of morphine being missing from the trucks, fentanyl, drugs that anesthesiologists need to use to perform surgeries, to take care of amputations of limbs. And we know Israeli snipers target limbs on purpose. Historically, they have been caught doing this, and they continue to do this. I don't have a whole lot of hope for the ICJ, but I'm glad that they're still talking about this issue. I'm glad they're still trying to do something. When the UN was established, one of the driving factors behind it was the Nazi Holocaust of the Jews. Since then, there have been many, many, many different genocides, and the court has attempted to address these things, because what they said after the Holocaust was never again for anyone, not just the Jews. The Jews are not uniquely victims in history. There are many other races and peoples who have been mistreated far worse than they have, or at least equally so. And what they are doing right now, they are meting out the punishment that they received, or the violence that they received from Germany, from the Nazi Party. They have chosen to turn around and do the same thing to someone else. There is no defense for this. There is no justification for this. Just like there is no defense for the annexation of land after the 1967 war. There is no justification for the moving of settlers into occupied territory. There is no justification for any of this. In October, in 2023, settler violence exploded in the West Bank. From October 1st to October 7th, over 200 Palestinians have been killed. Thousands had been moved out of their land. Thousands of people, families were displaced as part of an ongoing project of ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and annexation of land against the guidelines of international law that were established in part to prevent another Nazi Holocaust from taking place. And it is sickening. It is disgusting to watch the people who were so poorly mistreated in the past to turn around and do that to another people, because they, just like the Nazis, consider themselves to be superior human beings, and they consider the Palestinians to be human animals. Watch the Alaska Mosque and watch Rafah and pray to whatever God you believe in that this evil is not allowed to go unpunished. Because if it is allowed to go unpunished, that opens the door for any rogue state that wants to do the exact same thing that they're doing to their neighbors, if they're coveting their land, to do it and to get away with it, rendering international law against great crimes like genocide and ethnic cleansing completely irrelevant. That is not a world I want to live in. Goodbye, everybody.